Hello and welcome to this episode of WN Stuff. I'm your host, WN. Welcome to the Variety Channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day. So today we're going to be reading a little bit more of the 5 Years Later comic. I just got back from traveling to Japan, and I figured we could get another chapter under our belts. This is chapter 5 called Oversight, and it was a really good chapter. I feel like this one focused more on the relationships in between people, and it was a lot more emotional drama than like any physical fighting or backstory or anything like that. So I felt, as far as like the chapter so far, this was a good breakup and change to like keep things interesting as you were moving along in the story. And Oversight is such a perfect title for it. So that was I had no idea what it was going to be about, and now after reading it and looking at the cover and Oversight, makes perfect sense. We get to learn a little bit more about the characters at the Plumber HQ, and so one character in particular that plays the role of the captain while Ben is gone is a character called Lola. I think it's either Lula or Lola. I hope it's Lola, because that's the one I'm gonna pick right now.
I talked to OR Ash after the video was done. It's definitely Lula, so I'm gonna edit over the times I say it wrong.
She takes the position of leader or captain while Ben's gone, so she has to make like judgment calls and stuff, and she feels because she was put in charge, that means that Ben trusts in her judgment. So while Ben and Danny aren't there currently, she makes a decision where they can either split up and go to their post, which is per protocols, or they could all stay and be like on watch together in case they really have a physical intruder and have to fight somebody like Vilgax or something. And she decides to keep everybody together, which actually ends up being a problem because they don't have a physical intruder, but rather they have files taken and corrupted while Ben is gone, which creates a lot of anger in Ben. And then, of course, she's upset. She was trying to do what was best, and it didn't go her way, which really creates a lot of tension that's going to explode later in the comic. So they have a little bit of an argument. So Ben and Danny walk away, and Ben goes to pick up some type of outfit, which apparently smells the same but is clean. And we find out that it's the Ben 10 jacket because Gwendolyn and Kevin are about to make their appearance. So he wanted to wear something that was like reminiscent of whenever he was younger and whatnot. Grandpa was also supposed to be there. Unfortunate, but apparently being the leader of an entire plumber fleet is a little bit of a quote-unquote occupying job, so not able to be here currently. They have pleasantries back and forth. Kevin and him talk some trash to each other, which is good. A little bit of lightheartedness after like the argument, but that isn't going to be there for very long. They get to meet Danny in now his ghost form, and they have a theory about how Vlad got away because they had Vlad in their grasps, and as you remember, poof, disappears. So they figure out the energy signature. They find out that somehow he's leaping through realities. Now, every time you leap through a reality, it creates a rift. So essentially, when you go from here to here, here to here, here to here, you got a little map, so they can follow the energy signature. So they find a way to like stretch it out and find where the most recent point is. So the plan is to follow the little trail back to Vlad. So now Ben's about to leave, and he has another old friend, Cooper Daniels, that he puts in charge now. And of course, Lula is like, we don't need a babysitter. Is this because of what happened? And at this point, we have like, I feel like a really thought-provoking conversation or argument, however you want to put it, between the two of them. It really reaches like a boiling point where Lula tries to explain herself and say, hey, I thought I was fast enough, and Ben 10 is just like, I guess you weren't. And they really go back and forth, and it's like, Lula, like, well, it must be great to just be able to transform into whoever you need to be for a time, but some of us are stuck with ourselves. And I just, the idea and the depth of that conversation, even just not being aliens, just the thought of, yeah, some of us have to be the person we are and just do the best with that. I thought that was really interesting. So they are pretty much yelling at each other. So they have to just separate. Lula's going to have to get some space. Ben 10 still has to go on the mission with the other people. So, like, in his words, the mission still needs to happen regardless of that. I feel like this is something that's just going to have to be talked through later. Probably an apology. Whenever they're heading on the mission, Gwendolyn even makes mention of, like, you know, she may have made the call, but they all went along with it too. So you can't put all the blame on her. And he understands that. And the whole team follows Lula, like really follows her. So currently, he didn't put the other person in position, he says, because he felt like she couldn't handle being in charge. He just put Cooper in charge right now because she's in a moment where may make the wrong choice because she feels the need to prove herself now. So that may make her make a irrational decision in the moment, at least in Ben Tennyson's eyes. And I think Kevin even says something along the lines of, reminds me of somebody. So they go back to the original spot where Vlad disappeared to follow the energy signature back, you know, ding, 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 through the temporal zone. So they ping-pong their way through the teleports to the last one, which happens to be in Zim's dimension, and they see something happening with a dwarf star, and they're like, what is that? What's going on? And they're like, well, apparently they're trying to harness, I've never seen this type of tech before, but it looks like they're trying to harness the power of the dwarf star. And it's like, well, guess it's time for round 2. Danny can even feel both Vlad and a ghost on the ship because they're close enough. So they transform and they make their way out of the ship, and that's where we end. That was a really good chapter, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I feel like it was a good break from the other chapters. It was different enough to, like, keep you intertwined with the story and the characters and things like that. Did you like that or this or any of this? Leave a like. If you dislike that or any of this, I disagree with you. But be sure to leave a dislike, you know, if you hate me or whatever. And until next time, WN stuff. Woo! Hope you have a wonderful day, and hope to see you in the next chapter or reaction or whatever video comes next. See y'all later.
Went to fighting now, specking lights all around. At the distance now, I am inbound. What's this all about? I just wanna find peace of mind.